We've been gone. Oh wow.
What, a little bit.
3 months, 2 months?
Feels like a while.
It's been a while.
I've lost track. Let's put it that way. Stop counting. I ran out of fingers.
Yeah, we missed a lot. Obviously.
That's okay. You traveled though.
We were busy. You traveled. Because
I traveled and you traveled.
Yeah, we haven't recorded since before you left.
Yeah, we went separate ways.
So yeah, we've been gone a while. But we're back. We missed a lot of exciting Blue Jays baseball. We'd kind of missed the entire
that last
fun
push,
section of Jays.
Yeah, when they said they were supposed to win all those games and then they just ended up making it fun.
Yeah. Hey, they kept it close. They shouldn't have been that close.
They kept it close. I think Seattle kept it real interesting from just randomly
ridiculous.
popping in, like 2 days left in the season, and here's the Mariners like, hey, we're here too.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, they definitely did all they could given the position they put themselves in the last game. Like you win that game, even the last series, like you knew that it was going to be, they need to win everything from here on out.
Yeah, we haven't recorded since like before the Oakland series.
Yeah.
And that Oakland series was kind of what set off this like second wave of like because they swept that series.
Yep.
Did we go to one of those games? No, that was earlier.
No, yeah.
They swept the Oakland series. They swept the Yankees. They won the series against the Rays, and it was just like, man, they might do this thing. And then they just started losing again.
And then it was the same thing when they went to when they saw Minnesota. Like they saw Minnesota before, and I think they split that series. They lost that series, and then everyone was saying, "Oh, we see Minnesota again." I go, "Yeah, that's a bad thing. We didn't play them well."
No, it wasn't good. They didn't look great against Minnesota, obviously,
and Baltimore.
And Baltimore, they were okay. They swept that last series, but it came down to the Red Sox couldn't lose on the last day.
They just weren't ready to win every single game out then. That was the thing, is that you needed
this earlier in the season.
Run. Yeah, and it's tough though, because 3 of the teams that got into the postseason, technically, I get it, the wild card, but they were from your division.
Yeah,
so you're
exactly
fighting.
it's ridiculous.
It's a 4-team fight out of a 5-team division. That's insanity.
You're playing 4 of the best teams in the AL more often than you're playing any other team, right? It's just
I don't know if Baltimore is as bad as we think they are, because they play the 4 best teams.
They're only bad against Tampa because Tampa slaughtered them this year.
Yeah,
but everybody else had a tough time with Baltimore in their division. So it's just I don't know. It was tough. There were obviously some highlights. Marcus Semien was great.
What a great season he had.
Unbelievable pickup. He's obviously a free agent. That's going to be a lot. We're going to talk about that a lot going forward. I don't think we need to touch on it too much today, but yeah, that'll be an interesting thing moving forward. Robbie Ray, another free agent.
That I think is the biggest. What do you do here? Because it's not like he's not a liked face around here, and he's been here, and he was here 2 years. Realistically, it wasn't a one and done. He signed two.
He signed that friendly little deal there.
Exactly, and then he did exactly what he was going to do, and now now he's looking like, okay, are you guys going to do exactly what you kind of said you would do, right? You're going to put faith in me, and are we going to spend that money towards me now to keep him here, right? I think it depends on.
I think he's earned it. I mean, he's probably going to be the Cy Young winner.
He's earned it from somewhere. I don't know
if it's here.
Yeah, I don't know if the team makeup needs him back.
Yeah, you don't really have a number 1 guy right now. With the way Hinge and Ryu performed this season, you really don't know.
No, you don't have a number 1, but you hope maybe that you have
someone that can do it.
Yeah, and then that money goes more towards your bottom half of
your bottom 3. Could
your bottom 3. Even if you want to venture into the bullpen a little more,
definitely needs help.
Yeah, and do some of that, right? Then you can with the money from Robbie Ray, and I think having Jose for another year is pretty underrated.
Yeah,
because that gives you another capable pitcher,
another top of the rotation,
who's been at the top, man. He fit in pretty well with Vlad.
He loves the group.
Yeah. He with those kids, and that's where I think he kind of fits in a little better than Ray. If you're looking at, okay, well, who does this kind of money go to? And that's where I think that JB's kind of got the extra. He's got the age, which is nice. He's younger. And I honestly think that his ceiling is a little bit higher. And once he gets kind of accustomed to jumping into this division is tough, because it feels like almost everybody can hit.
Yeah.
It feels like when you go up against the Yankees, that their top 6 can just mash balls, right? Yeah. The Red Sox, as we're kind of seeing this postseason now and again, if they keep going forward, right, they get on streaks, they can hit balls. Tampa Bay is just a team that games. It's tough to go into these games when coming from a team like Minnesota where you really had
nothing,
1 to 2 years maybe of success against some teams.
They were good for a little stretch there, and then they lost.
Yeah, and it's not like their division is as crazy competitive as this one is, or as terrible as even rival filled. To see the teams.
The rivalries here are a lot more intense than
between the four of them. You really feel like you've got big rivalries. It's never a game of.
I hate playing every team in our division. There isn't one team that I'm like, it's whatever. It's the such and such.
Right, and we don't have the history of Boston and New York. But the issue is that I think we're kind of like that little brother, saying guys, we're here and we're good.
Always. We've always been that.
Right. So we're kind of throwing ourselves in there.
I don't know, the way I see it, Rogers has a shit ton of money, and I think they're getting more and more permission to spend.
For sure. But you wouldn't.
I would like to see Robbie Ray come back, and I think Rogers would, and I think ownership and the management and the whole team, I think they'd all like to see Robbie Ray back.
And to me, was this year the year that you decide then you're going to stop spending money after spending money 2 years?
You gave Ryu money, you gave Springer money,
you gave Marcus Semien money for even though it was for a year. You still gave him some money. You gave Robbie Ray the opportunity.
You gave those guys the big money, and they weren't even your guys. They were guys you brought in from out of town. These are your guys. Robbie Ray is your guy that you need to pay now.
I completely think that they are ready to pony up more cash. I don't know though if it's in those two guys because there are other
Semien I think is less likely for sure.
Right, because there are other ways to fill that position and there are bigger needs around the diamond.
Yeah.
For them to get realistically. Yeah. And you can find another Semien that will do that, right? That will come in for a year and
there's names out there too, like Corey Seager's out there, obviously. Carlos Correa's out there.
But they even said, for a trade aspect, Jose Ramirez names right away is thrown around. And that right there is, if you get a guy like that, then you know what? Defensively, you're a lot better. Hitting, you're a lot better. At third base.
Yeah.
Right? It's
an upgrade, position, obviously, over a guy like Calvin Biggio defensively at third base.
Right. And then injury-wise, I don't know. I just felt like Semien, even though he could kind of move around, he really stuck to one side of the bag, right? Yeah. It just seemed like he always played second baseman.
He will, if he's on the Blue Jays, he's going to be a second baseman. Right. I don't know if he'll want to do that going forward. I think he wants to get back to short somehow.
Yeah, for sure. And I would love to see him back. I honestly think that Bo maybe deserves to look over at second then, because it wasn't like Bo did absolutely everything perfect, and it wasn't like it was.
He was terrible to start the year at short, but he figured it out. And I think he's one guy at 24. He's 24.
For sure.
You want him to be a shortstop. Yeah. You'll let him figure it out.
But if you can even flash him around a little more.
Maybe.
But that's the thing. Sure. If Simeon's saying one of my things is that I want to play short.
Then you give him a chance. Sure. But as of right now, if you can bring Semien back as a second baseman, then I think that's ideal because you keep Bo there because you want Bo to be your shortstop in the future. You're not looking to go outside to find your shortstop in the future. You fill the other spots if you want. You get a guy like Jose Ramirez. Yep. You move a Carlos Correa or a Corey Seager, not Kyle. What do you call it? Corey Seager over to third, and they'd be your third baseman or your second baseman if you really need it. There's options there. I just think they like having Bo at short. I mean, he's got the tools to do it. So it'll be interesting. I don't want to see Carlos Correa come to this team. Not even because of the cheating thing. I know he cheated. I hate the way he handled it. And I hated him before he did all that. I've been open about that for years.
I don't know if he will, though, man. I don't really get the sense that when George Springer was coming from the Astros, I didn't really get the sense that he was leaving a whole bunch of his absolute best friends. Somebody that you might see maybe come this way is Yuli Gurriel, because not only does his brother play, but he also knows George, right? That. But he didn't seem to fit into the Altuve, Correa.
George Springer just likes everybody, though.
But, so it's but I don't think that he would then go and say, you know what, this culture here, this team here is in need of a Carlos Correa when you really don't need him.
Correa's really he's the bell at the ball. Realistically, he's got the pick of whoever the hell he wants. And I don't know if Toronto is going to be the stop that he wants
money to that he's going to command. I think he's going to go somewhere a little more flashy, a little more American in the bright lights. Yeah, absolutely, something right.
I don't know.
Would you really be surprised if you were to see a guy like that in pinstripes? You know what I mean?
They need a shortstop.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, right? Guy like that. He just seems like he's going to go to one of those teams that shouldn't get him, but is going to get him, right? If the Dodgers lose Seager and they go call and get Carlos Correa, then
the Dodgers sign everybody. So
this is what I'm saying.
If they do lose a guy, they're either going to have Corey Seager or Carlos Correa.
Yeah, so I think the one thing you have to worry about is the Padres. Padres won't be able to.
They can't afford it.
Exactly.
They signed everyone else just to miss the playoffs.
Exactly, right? So,
yeah, I don't know. I don't want it. The Jose Ramirez talk has been out a lot too. I really like Jose Ramirez. I really don't like some of the packages that.
Does that come from a lot of ties with them being in Cleveland? Like, is that really?
I would believe so.
Is that
like
Shapiro and Atkins because they were there with them? Like, but
he was their guy. Like they brought him up,
and he's had good years.
He's great. I think he's
had great years, but he's also had moments where he's been really
super
bad.
inconsistent throughout the season. Like a lot of people just like they'll throw up his stat line. It's like, look how great he was, and I'm like, yeah, he ended up finishing with that year, but he'll go on stretches where he's irrelevant. And I'm like, I really like Jose Ramirez. I think he can be an MVP candidate every year after year, but like, I don't think you need another bat like that if you're gonna give up 4 or 5 prospects and a position player from the roster. It's so much for one more bat.
Exactly. Their need isn't one more bat. You're hoping that your bat's already on the team, take another step forward.
You could sell the future. You could for sure sell the future and bring him in, but like, I don't want this team to win in 2022. I want them to win for the next 5 years, 5-10 years.
For me, one of the biggest things is the catching position. I know that they have a lot of prospect talent, a lot
Gabe
of
Moreno
potential.
Looks really good
For sure. But wouldn't it be nice to have somebody back there who can just game and just knows what everyone does. He's got tendencies figured out, and he hits
someone that's been there, done that.
And then he hits like 240. That's it. And he's just
you don't need your catcher to hit.
No, exactly. But it's better than having all these, 0.1 guys come up with, and you just know that it's going to be a strikeout. Because how many times, even when we went to games, did we see somebody that shouldn't have been up there in a clutch situation, and then we get steamrolled because of it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting offseason. Honestly,
we're
going to talk about it for the next
Wouldn't it be nicer though?
6 months.
Like, it is nicer to have this problem. Like, to be talking
for
about
sure.
To be talking about the fact, like, how are you going to spend your money instead of, okay, who are you going to try to convince to come over here now?
Yeah. We seem like we're a much more marketable spot to play now. It's not like, oh, we have to go.
We do get the free agents. Yeah. Right. Like, that's the thing.
You're starting to get that chance.
Whatever they're saying to people, like, they're getting the free agents to look and to consider their way. Like, I don't think George Springer just came here because we were 10 million more than everybody else or whatever it was. Right.
It's a good spot to play. The team's great. There's a bright future.
Absolutely. He sees the young kids.
For sure.
He sees where this team is going. And you're right. The trajectory could be for the next 5 years that this team could be great.
Yeah. I think that's the ideal spot. I don't like giving up the prospects because you have that opportunity. Right. You could look at the Dodgers. The Dodgers have been the best team in baseball for 8 years.
Their prospect
They have one championship to show for it.
Right. But their prospect pool is always coming. They're always coming with new players.
They're giving you something. Someone comes up every year and just blows you out of the water. And like, you need that. You can't just like go all in for one season, because if you don't win that season, you're right back at square one.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be fun going forward. Before we get on to anything that actually matters, have you seen the World Balloon Cup?
The
Balloon World Cup.
That's Balloon World Cup.
Yeah. No. I've seen this multiple times now.
Jeez.
I'll show you the video. I'll try and what do you call it? I'll try and put it in the video too.
What is it?
So essentially, while you're watching that, it's like, when you're a kid and you're like, you have to hit up a balloon. Like, everyone that was a kid and had a balloon and you're like trying to keep it in the air, they have a World Cup for that. you rip around, keeping the balloon in the air, and they have like the setup. There's like couches, and I think there's like a car.
There's a car in the middle that it keeps hitting. So as long as it doesn't hit
the ground, it's still safe. Same as when you were a kid, right? You hit the couch, whatever. But
oh my gosh, these guys were diving.
And they're flying everywhere.
I need to follow that.
Unbelievable.
That's amazing.
It's mesmerizing.
That's amazing. The car is my favorite part.
It got covered.
I would like to see Blake Griffin in this, because he just jumped it.
They should do a celebrity balloon World Cup. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
This would be so fun. This looks like something I could do. What's the problem?
I'm also thinking that World Tag Championship. Have you ever seen
tag?
That?
Yeah,
those guys.
The one where they're like running through
through the courses. You're trying to chase each other.
Those things are great.
Right? They'd be good at that too. That's unreal.
How wicked.
There is a championship for everything. Okay?
How wicked. Yeah. I want it.
I watched a video of the championship for a guy. They hold rubber bands on the back of their ears and they pull against each other, and the first one to give up loses. For real, that was the championship.
So you can find it on Amazon. They have
there's
merch.
T-shirts.
They have merch.
They have sweaters.
They have sweaters.
Nice.
They have pop
Dude,
sockets.
Kike
They have
just hit another
phone
bomb.
cases.
Kike just hit another bomb. See ya.
This game's over.
Wow.
They have phone cases. They have bags. This is incredible. Maybe we'll hop on the balloon world. Maybe we'll start a balloon
you know what? We
world
might have to
podcast.
pick some. I'll pick a player, okay? Because it's each country, right?
I don't know. I know nothing about this place.
All right. If you're an expert on the balloon championships,
It's all in. I'm assuming that's Spanish.
okay.
Because I don't know, but it looks like the USA typically is very proud. They walk around with their flags.
Of course, in the balloon
This
championships.
guy here won it. I don't know.
Where's he from?
Not a clue.
No, doesn't show.
Not a
any-
clue. I don't
no
speak a
flag
lot of Spanish.
representation
Oh,
or
Peru.
nothing?
The guy from Peru won it.
We just
2 days
watched
ago.
that. That was the clip.
Was
it was
that
the
it?
guy from Peru versus the German.
So the Peruvian man
fellow.
won it 2
Right
days
on.
ago. Good for him.
He smacked the best balloon.
Maybe we'll start training, and next year we'll be in the balloon world.
I think I could be pretty okay. I'm pretty long.
Yeah,
get
you'd
to a
have
lot
a
of
good
these.
time.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd do as well.
I think you're agile.
I used to be agile.
I like that they put
Back in the day.
they put those like rugby helmets on them. Like, don't get a
Don't
concussion.
hurt yourself.
I'm gonna see someone run into the car. You know they're gonna turn around by accident.
I think we should do it.
All right.
I think we should train for the Balloon World Cup.
I think we should try. You stay tuned
What's
for
stopping
later
us?
on down life that
What's
we
stopping
release
us from becoming what is it? Balloonists? What do
balloonists.
we call this?
Yeah, I'm a balloon athlete.
Balloon keeper uppers?
Wow.
Let's do it.
I am an athlete, okay? An athlete.
Getting paid to keep balloons out.
That's it.
The NHL started.
It did.
Yeah. I'm like super depressed on this season.
Already?
Just like
We're 2 games in for the record.
before the
Ottawa
season
game hasn't started.
before the season even started.
You know what's funny? I looked at that camera, but we're on.
It's over there. Yeah. Gets a little
We're
confusing.
on. There.
Like before the season even started, like I just didn't really have a lot of interest in the Leafs, and I'm like, I'm still not gaining.
Did you feel
interest in the
better
Leafs.
or worse with the team this year? Like when you walked into this year compared to last year, did you feel better about this team?
I feel the same. Honestly, I feel exactly the same. I think it's the same team.
So it's like a lateral.
They lost guys. They lost Hyman, sure. I don't even know who else they lost. Galchenyuk. But it's the same team. Like everyone they brought in is
Hey,
the exact
Brooks.
same of the guys they lost.
They lost Brooks.
They lost Adam Brooks.
Maybe
Mike Amadio. I think
Cleaned them up.
I don't understand why they're not moving up a guy like Nick Robertson to actually make a change. But like it's the same team realistically, and I think they're gonna have a great regular season like they always do. And I'm like, that's great. I'm still struggling to find interest in this team right now.
Yeah, they're missing a lot of fear in secondary scoring for me. Like especially
The depth
with,
is not there.
Yeah, especially with it almost
Pierre
seems,
Engvall is your depth scoring right now.
when I watch the games, like when we watched game 1, it was either if William Nylander is not on the ice, is this thing going in the net?
It doesn't seem like it.
No. And that's the thing is that it's almost like you got to wait. Everything is just a defensive shift until Willie gets on, and then you get that shift to go forward.
Mhm.
You know,
I understand we're missing Austin Matthews. That's big.
for sure. But you have to prepare for that in an 82
But
game
sure.
season. If you walk into a season thinking if we lose anybody, even tonight, the Toronto Maple Leafs have signed a U of T goalie. Because they literally have no money. There is no money left in the millions and millions of dollars.
They can't afford to call up a backup goalie.
They literally can't afford to call a backup goalie up. They have no money. There's no room in the budget.
Essentially, we're going with our own David Ayers as the backup goalie. Is what this is,
Dude, if you guys need a loan, I got some. I could give a little bit out.
There's no cap space. They have the money. They're the highest highest valued franchise in the NHL that came out yesterday.
I'm understanding that.
But they can't put anything in.
And yet somehow we walked ourselves into a point where we need to sign an emergency goalie. I don't even know how you sign an emergency goalie for the cap that we have. How does that work?
So what it is like you can sign someone for an amateur tryout that doesn't go on the cap. And then you can only bring someone up on an emergency basis if you play one game without the guy that's injured. So because he's a goalie, we need to have someone there just in case.
I feel so sorry for any professional free agent goalie who is sitting
Watching this college kid
and waiting and watching this U of T prospect.
What's his name? Do you know his name?
Wow. No, I didn't even bother.
Alex Bishop.
Brother Ben?
Hopefully.
Maybe he's as tall.
Maybe
as
he'll
Ben
be the
Bishop.
next Ben
Yeah.
Bishop. I don't think so. Someone tweeted out that they watched him play Ryerson the other day. He let in 3 goals in 9 minutes. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in him being in.
What was the Ryerson goalie doing? He
I don't
said
know.
no. He's no, I'm a Habs fan. Sorry.
I don't know. So yeah,
Wow.
Alex Bishop going to be on the bench tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that is where our season is at.
Could actually get in the game. Let's not forget, we saw Peter Mrazek make a pretty harmless kick save and hurt his knee. I think it was it not? That was
Groin.
Sorry, pull his groin.
Yeah,
like seemed pretty harmless.
It didn't seem. I don't know. That's Peter Mrazek though.
I know.
It's kind of both of them. I'm a little concerned because it's Jack Campbell too, and if that happens to Jack, we're screwed.
Right?
Yeah.
I bet you're missing Freddie now.
Hey, Willie looks great. Willie looks so good.
Let's talk about the man that matters.
Yeah,
the only
one on the team that matters. And Jack, I love Jack.
Right. He does look phenomenal. Oh. I think that when Matthews comes back, it should actually be
the two of them. Absolutely.
Him and Matthews.
Absolutely.
Why not? I never understood that. I think I've said this past times before, but why was it when Marner and Tavares found success after a season, it seems like they walked away from it?
Ever since Keith got here, it's been Matthews and Marner, and I don't understand why.
Did everyone forget about that season? Did everyone look over there and say, hey, this never happened? Because Nylander is now a different player.
He's the best player on the team right now.
Nylander is also there because remember he sat out waiting for money.
He took so much shit for sitting out and getting $6.9 million. There's been 2 contracts signed in the past week that are worse than that. Like, there's no complaining about William Nylander's contract anymore. No. You can't watch what that kid's doing on the ice and tell me that his contract's bad. He's playing defense. He's doing his job. He's digging in the corners. He's scoring at will.
If he
no pun intended.
There you go. If he were to ever get traded, you lost every trade. Doesn't matter what you get. Doesn't matter what you get. You lose every trade.
Yeah, remember when everyone wanted him traded? Literally 2 years ago, last year. Some people
lose every single trade.
Unbelievable
in that front because he has stepped up his game, and you know what's funny? He's done the things that everybody said that all the superstars should do. Oh, you should take less money. Oh, you need to play a 2-way game. Oh, you need to constantly get better. Oh, you need to be flexible across all fronts.
He did all of those
things. On all lines. You could be playing line 1. That man has seen line 4 probably 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, like Babcock was here. He put him on line 4.
See what I'm saying? And what did he do?
He's done everything they've asked.
Did he grow? Did he fire back? Did he make a tabloid saying that he wanted out because he was on the 4th line?
He's making $1.5 million less than Brady Tkachuk is every year. Brady Tkachuk is making $8.2 million.
Brady Tkachuk, future captain of the Ottawa Senators.
Sure. I think he's a great leader. I've heard lots of great things about Brady Tkachuk, the human being.
That's gone.
And that's nice.
Wow.
Brady Tkachuk, the human being, isn't the one getting paid. Brady Tkachuk, the hockey player, is getting paid. And honestly, from what I've seen out of Sen's Twitter, they love it. They love the deal. And I'm like, hey, if you guys are happy,
because they like Brady Tkachuk.
They love Brady Tkachuk.
Brady Tkachuk, the person. That's why
Brady Tkachuk, the person, great. His personality has earned him some money, but I don't think he's a good enough hockey player to be making $8.2 million. He takes 1 billion shots a night,
but it makes
and doesn't score.
But then that makes Nylander look that much
better. I love it. Crazy.
No, he needs to go with Matthews. They need to just run.
Yeah,
and then you need to let Marner and Tavares figure it out
let them get the chemistry back that they had 2 years ago.
I don't know if I'm as sold on Marner as everybody. As
$10.893 million to be doing not a whole lot of anything
right
now. I think he's getting better away from the puck, which you're not going to see on TV, and you're really not paying attention to it. But that's not enough to be making 10.893. You need to be scoring.
He needs to be a point per game guy. And the fact that does he have 1 now? Does he have 0 right now? I'm not even sure. I don't even think I think he has maybe 1.
He didn't have an assist after the first game. I don't know if he had any last game.
Right. But he hasn't stepped up.
Assist,
okay, so he hasn't stepped up though in the loss of Matthews. He hasn't stepped up when the team needs to, get in the zone even, right? That first game against Ottawa in the first period. In the first period, it was 3-0.
Yeah,
for Ottawa, and they pumped them.
They did have 46 shots, which was nuts.
For sure, that goalie was playing well, but you know what that means? Those shots were probably right at him. They were seeing them.
Yeah. I don't know, Mitch. He'll get there. I don't know what it is with Mitch. I think Mitch is just trying to do too much.
I think he's scared.
Probably.
I think he's scared now.
I
think he's seen the wrath of the Toronto market. I think he's seen now what the fans are truly capable of.
I don't think he resigns.
Because how many times was it before it was on? There's always something else going on. I feel there's always something else to take the heat off of him. Like Nylander for as long as
Willie's been taking the media hit for 4 or 5 years now. Actually,
Right.
he's been here 7, so 5 years, I would think.
And then it was always something else, like with bringing in free agents. Okay, well, let's focus on them now, right? And this year, the Leafs didn't bring in any miraculous free agent. There was no big
Nick
signing.
Ritchie was your biggest.
That's what. So there was no huge name drawn in. So now you look at it, and then you got to see, like, okay, what do we have? Why is it not working out? Mitch Marner having 1 assist after 2 games.
He needs to be better. He needs to, like, it's not even the point numbers for me. He just needs to look better offensively, like produce something that makes me think, like, you know what, the puck's just not going in for him. But like, I haven't seen anything out of him yet that I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
His shots look like my shots, like they look like you're just throwing them in.
Guy can't shoot.
You're just getting
That's
it on
the
net to
one
get a
thing
shot.
I would like to see him do is just work on that shot over the course of the offseason and make that somewhat of a weapon. But
if you're not going to, though, the thing for me is then get him a pure sniper. Get him somebody
they have
who
Austin.
is
But they can't even afford to get a backup goalie.
That's the thing.
It's gonna get bad.
I know,
Oh,
but that's what Mitch needs. Mitch needs just a shooter.
It hurts.
He needs somebody who is just going to, I know, and
we've talked about this team way more than I want to.
You backed yourself into a corner, signing all these big guns,
I know.
signing I don't even say 4.
And for
why do we say 4? Willie's not worth that much. Willie's contract is beautiful.
Yeah, it's 3 guys.
It's
There's 3 contracts that hurt right now.
And there's 2 that hurt the most because one of them is deserving of the 3, for sure. I will always say that. I think that at the time, the Tavares contract made sense because he wanted to bring in a big name, but I think now it is underwhelming.
It hurts. It's not crippling. I think you can handle because his game is still pretty good both ends of the ice. And I mean, if he plays in that playoffs, it's probably a whole different. It's a different conversation we're having right now.
For sure.
But the Matthews contract is nothing. The guy is arguably the third best player in the league.
More. He could be worth way more.
You could put him at McDavid's contract and you would understand. Like, it's not that big a deal. Marner's hurts the most. Tavares sometimes looks like he earned it and sometimes looks like it's way too much. It hurts. This team is frustrating. I hate talking about them. I'm kind of done with it already, and it's game 3.
Yeah, they were uninspiring, I think, all games. I didn't even think they were going to win that Montreal one.
No.
Like, they looked really, and Montreal didn't even have they didn't have Carey Price. They were going through it.
Montreal lost to Buffalo the next night.
Right.
Buffalo, the best team in the league, by the way. 2-0. First 2-0 team in the league.
Just want to say Buffalo's on to something. That Dustin Tokarski, I tell you.
God. Yeah.
We need to go down to a game then to see this
For sure. The red hot Buffalo Sabres team. Why not? That Brady Tkachuk contract, what do you think?
I think it's
how much of an overpayment do you see it as?
You know what? I don't, because I think it means something more to the culture of that team.
Okay.
They have been absolutely rocked, especially when they go you're a goal away from a Stanley Cup appearance.
Yeah, another.
And then
hanging around last place for
3
years.
But then your whole team crumbles beneath you. You're trying to build an identity. You lost pretty well everybody.
Carlson, Stone.
Right. Even Hoffman was there, right? Like it was bad, but he was still there. He was still a name. And then even the goaltender, right? Craig Anderson was a bona fide name there every night, and then they lost him. So you need to build some sort of culture again. And I think that Brady Tkachuk, not only did they draft him, not only have they always given him that opportunity, but and $8 million, you're hoping that within the next couple of years that cap continues to like crawl a bit. I know it probably won't.
It didn't work out too well for the Leafs when we tried that.
But they didn't pay Brady Tkachuk 11. They didn't pay Brady Tkachuk 10. They paid him 8.
8.2.
8. And if you get some players around him, 8.2 looks pretty okay because he could be a 2 or a 3 option. So
there's 3 players in the league that are making what Brady Tkachuk is making. Actually.
Okay.
4.
Okay.
I think. So actually, he's making 8.3. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that are in that bracket. It's Claude Giroux, who signed his back when he was good. So it's
did deserve it.
Jake Voracek
just got traded for Cam Atkinson.
OEL, the defense a little different to compare, and Blake Wheeler. That's the category that you're putting.
Signed as
Blake Wheeler, I think, earned that.
Okay, so now he's the best player out of all of them then.
I would, yeah.
So then that's fine.
So then below that, you've got like Logan Couture, Ryan Johansson, Matt Duchene, Brent Burns, Phil Kessel, Jake Trouba, John Carlson, Thomas Chabot, Victor Hedman, Shea Weber, Quinn Hughes.
I think like all those except Victor Hedman, I'm like, and Hughes. Yeah.
Once you get to the bottom there, it's kind of
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting deal. I
think it's a culture.
He doesn't score enough for me to give him 8.
But they've decided now, man, like that they're gonna start young and they're gonna keep them together. And I think Brady's the first domino of that, right?
Yeah.
Then because they did the same thing with Thomas Chabot. They signed him as soon as they could, right? They put a lot of faith in Matt Murray. They want to build a young team together.
Yeah, they are building a core.
Right, Drake Batherson right? is there. They love him. Colin White, too. Yeah, Tim Stutzel. They've given him tons of they're young, and yeah, they're dead last now, but they're still. I think they're going to be
They're going to be good.
Yeah.
I don't think the Ottawa Senators are going to be bad anytime soon, but I don't think handing out $8 million to a guy that realistically is a third line player on a good team.
I just think that's going to be your captain, and your captain makes 8.2, right? Like if you look around the league, you said Blake Wheeler is another captain makes 8.2. Okay, well Johnny T makes like 11. Jonathan Taves as well. Johnny T makes 10.5. Yeah. Right. There's a lot of captains around the league. You could look. Sidney Crosby makes 8.7. Connor McDavid makes 13.
So John Tavares,
yes,
career high in points. Can you guess?
Probably, I'm going to say I think he was a point per game guy. I don't even know if he was above that. Maybe 91. I'm going to go 91.
Has been more than the point per game guy a couple times.
Okay, I'm going to go 91.
Career high, 88 points.
That's all right.
In his first year with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Nice. With Mitch Marner.
He also had 47 goals.
With Mitch Marner. Yes.
He had 47 goals.
So how can we see that in 5 seconds yet? Sheldon Keefe has taken 2 seasons.
Just for fun, could you tell me what Brady Tkachuk's career high is?
Oh, probably 50 something.
He's only played 3 years.
Yeah, I think he's got a 50 something season in him, and that was it.
There we go. So Brady Tkachuk's played parts of 3 seasons, and then this year, which he hasn't started yet.
Right.
In order, he had 45 and 71, 44 and 71, and 36 and 56.
That number right there, showing some progress.
So 36
and 55.
36 and 56.
56.
Right. 56 times 82. That's a 52-point pace.
Perfect. Worth every 8.2.
That sounds okay, but he takes 300 shots a season.
They also have
He led the league in shots last year.
Yeah, and they're hoping that some of those go his way.
They don't.
They're good.
He can't shoot.
Shoots better than Marner.
It's not. I don't even know if he does. You can't take that many shots and be under 20 goals.
I think he shoots better than Marner.
That's horrible. It's just, I don't know where Brady Tkachuk improves. He's already takes too many shots and doesn't score. What's he going to take more?
Not your team though.
No, but he's making a lot.
He cost you 8.2.
He's your most expensive guy right now.
Okay,
is he your best player? Problem. Is he Ottawa's best player?
They think so.
Do you think so?
He's the heart of that team.
Do you think he's their best player?
I don't really know a lot about him.
I think Tim Stützle is their best player.
I think now.
No, what are you paying?
I think
Tim
that
Stützle
maybe skill wise it is, but I don't think that in the NHL, the categories that matter, that Tim Stützle would get paid more. When it's his time
to get paid.
When it's his time.
If you're giving Brady Tkachuk 8.2, Tim Stützle's making $11 million.
He could be. I think that you'll be surprised. I think Stützle will be around that. I think where it set the bar.
If I'm paying Tim Stützle right now, and if I'm Tim Stützle going into a meeting, I saw 40-point Brady Tkachuk get 8.2.
Everybody loves Brady Tkachuk though as well.
So everybody loves Tim Stützle.
So you needed to keep him though.
That's gonna be tough. It'll be a real
hoping that
they're a ways away from that, so we don't have to worry about it.
But how many years? We got 2 years.
Well, he's only played 1 year.
Yeah. So they got, and then they got the RFA stuff, and then he's gonna get.
He's got 3 more years, I think, until he has.
Okay, and then Brady Tkachuk's 2 years into that contract.
So
for them, it's a movable contract though as well.
$8 million.
Yeah, you take half of that. It's 4.
If Brady doesn't project into turn into what he's projecting to be, you're not trading that contract.
I have seen crazier things done on crazier.
Dion Phaneuf did get moved,
right?
So Roberto Luongo's contract got moved.
We have seen some people get traded.
You got to pay for them for the rest of their lives.
There's a will, there's a way, for sure. But
insane.
I think it's just a lot of it is off the ice politics. A lot of it is culture building. A lot of it is we need an identity, and if our identity is going to be Brady Tkachuk, who we've already shown a lot of faith in from drafting him 4th overall, but
You're
4th
paying
overall.
8.2.
But when you saw him in London, was he? I think he was. What? He was Londonite, right? Yeah. So if you saw him,
No, Matt was.
Matt
I don't
was,
know. I don't know where Brady was.
Okay. But anyways, Brady
Figure
Tkachuk.
it out.
When I saw his highlights, still I don't remember what jersey he had on, but I know that there were some highlights of him.
Okay.
He looked exactly like he does now.
Yeah,
he does the same
big,
things.
annoying, and not very good.
Right, just gets in your head.
Oh, he went to BU.
Of course he did. Where all the studs go.
He had 31 points in 40 games at BU. He wasn't even a point per game guy at BU.
And yet he still managed to squeeze it. What was it? Was he 4th overall though? Total?
Yeah, I think so. He's not good. I don't think he's a good hockey player. I've never thought he's a good hockey player. I think he's a great person. I think he's probably going to be the captain of that team, and I think that's great. I think he's earned the captaincy there.
They just showed you
but
that
he's not a great hockey player.
They just showed you how great of a person he is.
Hey, 8.2 million for a great person. Good for them. Thank you.
Ottawa needs something.
Hey, Sens fans love it, and that's all that matters.
I don't think any of them thought they got hosed. I think all of them thought they got a deal.
Why not?
They thought they got a deal.
He's got that whole team brainwashed, the whole fan base, the whole city. It's brainwashed. I don't get it.
They're just in love with the Spit and Chicklets episode. You know?
Yeah, he's just fun. He's a good kid.
Funny. Yeah,
he's a good kid.
Absolutely.
It is what it is. The Red Sox are currently winning 9-0.
They scored 2 grand slams in the first 2 innings, which was awesome.
We're in the 4th.
How much has happened?
Who do you got in this series?
Oh, I have Boston all the way.
Yeah. I thought Boston was going to take game 1 too, and then Houston just.
No, I knew that
Pain in the ass.
Houston kind of does that,
Yeah.
but to me, right now it's just that Boston, if their bats are where their bats are claiming to be,
Yeah.
then it worked out for Boston because that's exactly what they wanted.
Yeah.
They're just gonna out hit you. You know, they didn't really do much. They hoped that Chris Sale would be healthy again.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really work, but that's fine. They have Eovaldi is just coming out, throwing hundreds.
Unbelievable.
Doesn't care, right? And then they just kind of do it by committee, but it's mostly the hits. They just have a bunch of in-your-face hitters, you know, like Kike Hernandez was quiet, I think, as a Dodger, and now you can't get enough of him. Right?
So
JD Martinez came back around
wild
to when like him and Mookie Betts were up for MVP, right? Like he's kind of hitting the same way again, where he sees the ball.
Kike Hernandez is probably going to win the World Series MVP for this team if they make it.
I hope they do.
Like, I hope he's the best player on this team.
I truly hope. I know that it would be nice, obviously, to see Dodgers Astros again, but I think it would be funnier to see Boston
playing against Mookie Betts.
Boston Dodgers, because then it did not kind of work out for both of you.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you got your World Series. Was it the year after?
A year or two after.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So within the first 2 years, and then within the 3 years or 2 years that we thought we were going to be good, we are good because we have, Alex Verdugo.
Verdugo looks great, which is crazy. It honestly, like, I think it was a bad trade for Boston. I don't want to try and sit here and be like, oh, they did great. I don't think it was a good trade.
Anytime you trade the best player, like
worked.
One of the best players in baseball, it's tough to do. And
here they are.
There's a reason why LA has just sat there on Mike Trout for years and years and years and refuses to trade him.
It was the first year of Mookie's deal
that they
won the World Series. Right.
So that worked out. And then now look at this. Year 2, Boston is not only made it to the playoffs, but they beat the Yankees. They're handing the Astros their lunch money. And it wasn't like they were far off last night.
No, it was close.
Or 2 nights ago,
game.
Last game, yeah.
Yeah.
Because of Kike.
It'll be interesting. Did you see Wilmer Flores' check swing?
It was bad.
Yep.
It was really bad. I think that that's where the instant replay needs to come in.
Man,
that's where
I don't know how you do instant replay on check swings.
That someone needs to just phone down to them and say, no, that wasn't it.
Change the call.
That can't be it. Yeah.
Like there's not the written rule sucks. Like the written rule for check swings is not clear enough that you can look at it in the replay and be like, hey, he didn't do this. And that's why it's not a check swing.
Speed? How do you see
it's so hard
from that far
to
see all that motion? And maybe back in the day for sure, but these guys are a lot faster now. They're monsters.
Gotta know as the ump in that situation though. Like that's not a call
you know what doesn't make sense to me? The players are getting younger and faster, and the umps are just getting older and
worse.
Nothing's changing.
Worse. No.
Why are we letting 60-something-year-old
they can't see it
homeboy all the way down at third base make a call, or all the way down at first base, or even the umpires behind the plate make me angry because their strike zones are
it's been really bad.
Incredibly bad.
Something needs to happen. I don't know what, but something needs to change there.
Even if it's just let them make the call and then we'll correct them, or even let's just put an earpiece in them and then we don't even have to tell anybody.
No.
If MLB came out and just put an earpiece in the umps and never told anybody about it and just kept saying to them, yeah, that was a strike, or yeah, that was a ball, do you think anybody would freak out?
Game would go slower, but I wouldn't care. I'd rather go slower and get the right call.
Game would go slower. They throw that shit up right away. Yeah. They even get it on the TV right away. You see exactly where that pitch was.
Yeah. There's so many calls that they could do something like that on. Like VAR.
I honestly think
because you don't call for VAR in soccer, right? No. Like they call down to you.
I think somebody just calls down and says, hey, like this is or even
there should be a VAR for baseball.
Or even isn't there in the NHL sometimes when you get a goal and they go and replay it and they'll just sound the horn at some point and say like, hey,
in
that
the middle
was
of the play and be like,
that was actually a goal.
Same idea.
Play, right? So let's do that then. If the ump says something and does something, you go on, right? How hard is it to change a count? Like, especially if it's not the end of the count.
Tell me one reason why we can't have VAR in baseball.
Because that baseball is original.
If you're not a 60-year-old white man, tell me one good reason why we can't have VAR in baseball.
Baseball is original to its core values, and
that's literally the only reason is that they want to keep it the same. Because that would be perfect. It's the perfect opportunity for baseball because you'll get the right calls, and the odds of you missing a call are slim. I don't know. Stupid.
It's ruining the game. It's taken away from it. I don't think that any other. Oh, is that a home run?
No, they're 9-3 now. We shouldn't have started talking about this.
No, we shouldn't have
come back.
Yeah, so I told you. I said 8 runs was a lot to come back in the second.
It's still.
We got a
9-3 now in the fourth.
Oh, that's Yuli though. Yuli hits everything.
Kyle Tucker had a double too. Dodgers, Braves. I'm assuming you're taking the Dodgers.
Oh way, man. Dodgers are still good.
They don't get bad. They use Max Scherzer as their closer. Now apparently they're using him again tonight as the game.
Yeah, you know why? Because he's the type of guy that can pitch anytime.
He's an animal.
Yeah. Did you see when Dave Roberts came out to take the ball from him once and he shook his hand? Dave comes out like this to take the ball, and Max shakes his hand right away. And then he goes, no, give me the ball. Like, Max didn't want to come out, so we made a joke of it, and he just shook the guy's hand.
Wild. They're doing all of this without Max Muncy.
Yep, that's right. I saw him. But
it's crazy. He's been their best player all year.
Oh, I know he has.
And they're still...
And then they just... But you know what? Though you have so many names on that team. The fact that they swindled Trey Turner into a trade with Max Scherzer was unreal.
So deep.
Let's not forget that they've done this whole year without Trevor Bauer the way that they expected. Like they thought they were gonna not need Max Scherzer, or when the trade deadline get Max and have Trevor and have Walker and have Clayton Kershaw and just breeze their way in, and yet
what a joke.
But no, they don't, and they're still fine. You know why? Because they have Clayton Kershaw, they have Max Scherzer, they have Walker.
Shout out to the Braves for getting there. They were terrible early on in the season, so
apparently
good for them.
Trading for Jorge Soler.
They made weird moves at the deadline, and it all worked. So good for them.
They believed. Aren't they without Acuna?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they got better after he got hurt.
Right.
It's kind of funny, but yeah,
Ozzy Albies, baby, the real heart of that team, right there. You want to talk about Freddie? You want to talk about Acuna? You got to look at Ozzy Albies because he pumps those boys up.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I think it's going to be a Boston, LA final.
LA?
Yeah,
I don't really see it going any other. I think
this will be fun. I don't think that this will be a sweep by any means. No. You'll probably see 6 or 7. Yeah, but I just think that the Dodgers are a freight train rolling and going back to back. Yeah.
Can we get rid of the 5-game series? Why is that still a thing?
Can we add the other wild card again?
Can we have an expanded play? Why is the 2 best teams in baseball playing each other in round 1?
What happened last year?
It was great. It was so much fun.
Everybody loved it. Yeah. You know how many more fans were committed to the end because there was there was more wild cards.
So many more teams got to be in a playoff race. And I know I'm probably saying this as a Jays fan because they would be in this year, but why is it that big a deal? And then you get a first round where everybody plays. Instead of a 1-game elimination.
But who does? I never understood the bye because NHL doesn't do a bye.
No.
NBA doesn't do a bye.
No.
If you're the first seed, you get the worst team. That's it. You still play
NFL
your way in.
Bye.
NFL does.
Yeah.
NFL has one game.
Weird.
They do one game
weird.
play in.
I feel like baseball was trying to do what the NFL does with their whole wild card game. It's like, 1 game, winner take all type of thing. But
I don't mind that.
It's just
I don't mind that.
1 game, it's just stupid.
I don't mind that, but I want another round to it. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
want the wild card to happen the way it did last year. Like, but without the series, like
Give me
the
a 2
Jays,
of 3 for the wild card series.
I don't even need that. Jays play the Rays one game. Okay, perfect. But there's that extra round. There's an extra possibility of, okay, we can still make it in now, right? Like we have one more day of baseball. You're getting one more day out of us.
Make it a seeding game. Basically.
What is the issue with having one more team in the playoffs if you're the MLB? You are going to get way more fans. If you heard that the Jays have a chance at a wild card game, even if you're a half-ass fan, you're going to watch it that night. You're going to try to go to the game. Yeah. You are going to do whatever you can to get there. So why would you not want at least one more team on each side in? And then say, hey, if your team won, if you're the best team in the AL and you're the best team in the NL, you do not get a bye.
No.
You are playing.
Yeah.
You have to play your way in and deal with it. That's the way this works, man.
I don't like the wild card situation. I don't like the first round being out of 5. Like, why do I only get to watch 5 games of the 2 best teams in the majors? Like the Giants and the Dodgers could have won 7, but we had a 5-game series. Just stupid. I don't like that.
I would even be open to just having it like you don't have to play your division first.
No.
Like you can have the top,
reseed it.
Yeah, exactly. Based off of who gets in. Like if the Dodgers and San Fran are 1-2, like I get it for throughout the year, seeding matters for sure because of the travel and stuff like that.
Sure.
But or like divisions.
I think it'd be way more fun if you just get into it and just reseed the whole thing.
That's what
AL, NL, no size, just like here you go. 16 teams.
There are some travels though that are like huge.
But in the playoffs, you get a day to travel anyway.
And to be fair, you have usually a 2-game series where you're in the same spot.
You're back to back, and then you get a travel day. So why not? I mean, it sounds ridiculous. It's kind of, it's a child's way of doing it. But I think it's way more fun.
You're not practicing anymore.
Yeah,
like you're in baseball.
Why is it that serious? Like it's not that serious.
It's fucking baseball, everyone.
Like I don't want to see the Dodgers play the Giants anymore.
No.
That was a great series, but I don't want them to play each other in first round.
No,
make it in the finals.
Yes.
Why not?
Or even in like the game to go.
Yeah.
You know, make them this series.
Have fun. I think that's enough for today.
I think we're good. Oh my god.
Hopefully the Red Sox can hold on.
What the hell?
It's exhausting.
It's only 6:30 by
the way. We haven't done this in too long. We're exhausted.
Too long. We don't even know.
Thank you for listening.
Merci beaucoup.
Our socials are all different now. Jesus, I have to rethink of this. Brandon's on Twitter. It's at BnB_Brandon. You can find me at BnB_Brant. What's our podcast is at a BnB pod, a EHBNB pod.
EH, yeah, not A. Not
the Instagram's the same now, so it's EHBNB pod. And yeah, always you can find us at theasports.com. You can find all our merch, including that shirt.
Some stickers that we don't have,
all sorts of stuff. It's actually coming more and more available as we go. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you next week.
We'll see. We'll catch you when we catch you. Yeah. Honestly, no commitments here.
Cheers.